Hey guys, how's it going? We're out in the greenhouse this morning getting ready to start some onions from seed, which is something that you want to start thinking about 8 to 10 weeks before your average last frost date. And honestly, onions can take some pretty cool temperatures. I typically plant mine out before our last average frost date, sometime in April. So I figured that starting them about the end of January sometime was kind of perfect. They'll be ready to go about mid-April, which is when I will be ready to put them out in my raised beds. So there are three basic methods of planting onions. The first way is from seed, which is what we're doing today, and I don't think I've ever showed you in a video how I do that. The second way is from pre-grown plants, which is basically somebody else has started the seed for you and has pre-grown them on. And then the third way is from bulbs, which I think I've showed you both pre-grown plants and bulbs in past videos. The only disadvantage planting them from bulbs is that you're very limited on variety. Typically you only find them red, white, and yellow, and sometimes a variety name is not even listed. And onions are a biennial plant, and the bulbs are the second year of that plant. And so a lot of times they're going to be wanting to try to send energy into blooming and setting more seed. So typically you don't get as big of a bulb on those. When you're doing pre-grown plants, you're kind of at the mercy of whatever your garden center has to offer in terms of variety. Most of the time they're bringing in varieties that are really good for your environment, really good for your growing climate. But if you start them from seed, your world, like the world of varieties, just opens up vastly because you can plant whatever you want. I'm going to just be growing things that we typically could get as plants because I know they do really, really well for us here and I really like them. So the first one is a candy onion. Then we've got Walla Walla onions and sweet Spanish Utah yellow onions. So I'm not exactly taking advantage of being able to choose whatever variety I want and trying something new. I just kind of want to go with what I know and what I love to use in our kitchen. And it's just fun to get out here and plant something, and I knew I could come out and do that. So anyway, the other thing that you need to know when you are choosing onion seeds is that there are three basic categories of onion, because onions rely on hours of daylight in order to form bulbs properly. So there are long day types, intermediate or day neutral types, and short day types. Long day varieties need 14 to 16 hours of sunlight in order to form their bulbs properly, and that's typically found in northern growing climates zone 6 and lower. And then you've got the intermediate day or day neutral type, which are like a zone 5 through 7, and they need approximately 12 to 14 hours of daylight. And then the short day types, they need 10 to 12 hours of daylight, and those are typically your warmer zones, so like zone 7 through 11. And you can typically find this information on the seed packet. Sometimes you can't, like on all three of mine, of course. I don't have an example that has one on the seed packet because I got these out of the bulk bins down at my parents' garden center. I did note though that the Walla Wallas are a long day, so they're perfect for my climate. We have very, very long summer days. And then candy onions are a day neutral, so they kind of encompass or encapsulate the good things about short day and long day onions kind of all in one variety. And then the sweet Spanish Utah yellows are a long day. If it doesn't say on the packet, you can just do a quick Google search and you will find it very quickly. So that's pretty much all the information that you need to know when you're selecting your onion seeds. In terms of supplies, I mean, the growing process of onion seeds is very similar to the growing process of everything else. You're going to need to have something to grow them in, which you can grow them in anything, recycled containers from your kitchen. I actually picked this up at the garden center yesterday. I think it's quite perfect. It's a seed starter kind of kit thing here. It's got the 11 by 22 inch tray, which is the standard, and I want to try out our new Oslo light system, which I think this is going to fit perfectly in, and it's watertight. And then it has this insert right here, which I like the size of these cells. There's 36 cells here, as opposed to doing like 6-pack or 4-packs where they're pretty tight. The soil reservoir isn't as big. I think that this is going to be a really good alternative, and I'm going to try to fit all of my onions into one flat. You'll also need seed starting mix, which I already have some in my bowl. I need to pre-moisten it still, but can you see the huge stack of seed starting mix behind me? Like, we are gearing up. And I just wanted to mention that sometimes I know it's hard to source things. Like I even had a hard time getting this down at my parents' garden center, and they've carried Espoma for years, but they couldn't find the big bags from any of their suppliers. So Erin was able to order in that huge stack from True Value, and they drop shipped it right to their True Value here in our city, and we were able to pick it up. Since we have a partnership with Espoma, a lot of times we get our stuff straight from them, or we'll pick it up at my parents' garden center, or Erin was able to find it through True Value this time. So anyway, I just thought that might be helpful for those of you who are trying to source stuff that you would like to try and you're having a hard time finding it. So anyway, other supplies are our tags. You want to make sure to have a good way to identify what is in your seed starting tray. I've got my water bottle here, and then I'm also going to put a layer of vermiculite on top of mine, because I notice when I buy my onions in packs from the garden center, they always have this layer, and I think that's helpful. Vermiculite helps maintain moisture levels on top of our soil, and it helps prevent like algae or anything growing. So this is totally optional, but I'm going to use it today. Okay, so we're going to pre-moisten our soil first. I've got a little bit of water here. We're basically just shooting for like kind of damp. We want, when we get it in our hands, we want to be able to squeeze it and no water comes out. It's not like a wet sponge, but it'll kind of hold together. Every once in a while, I look for this kitchen bowl inside, and I'm like, where is my big silver bowl? And I realize, like, oh, I've been using it to mix concrete and soil for the last, like, 4 or 5 years. Maybe I need to buy myself another one. Yeah. Okay. I think that that's about perfect. Let's take a look. This is a good test. Get some in your hand. Squeeze it. I mean, there's soil falling, but there's no water falling from it, and you can see it kind of just holds its form. And then we're just going to fill all of our cells here. And you really want to pack it in. Like, I might have to moisten more soil. We're supposed to get 4 to 8 inches of snow tonight. It's kind of weird that we're able to be out here today and knowing that's coming. Okay, I want to leave approximately 1/2 inch since I know the seed needs to go down that far. And then we'll top it up once I get the seed in there. Oh, man. Thanks. So I have my tray filled up as much as I want. I left about 1/2 inch in each one of the cells. I'm going to mix up a little bit more soil so that I'm ready to go once the seeds are in there, since, you know, I'm already all dirty. I'm going to go ahead and clear my work surface a little bit so I can get the tray right in front of me, and then we're going to put the seeds in. I'm going to start with the sweet Spanish onions first because there are like no seeds in this packet hardly. Like, is that for real? Look at that. That's like 1 cell's worth of onion seed. Oh well, this is the one of the 3 I like the least. So we are going to be seeding these 2 cells of sweet Spanish onion seed very heavily, because when you get these at the store, I will find like in a 6-pack, so the little cells, I'll find anywhere from 4 to 10 onion starts per cell. And then you take them out and separate them and plant them individually. And since these are larger cells...
Nope. Get out.
Uh-oh.
Hey, nope. You can keep going. It's fine.
This is like the only place where there's soil that's not frozen. So the cats are like, yes. Okay, that's pretty gross. Anyway, where was I? Okay, since these cells are bigger, I can fit probably, I mean, a good 10 onion starts at least in each one, and there's probably like 20 seeds here. So let's do it. Okay. These better be good growers here. There we go. Our first 2 cells are done. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark each one of them. I'm going to get another tag real quick so that I know those 2 are the same. There's our sweet Spanish. And then we've got candy onions, which I bought 1.25 ounces of seed, and it's a lot. Like a lot. And it's pelletized, which makes it a little bit easier to see in each one of your cells. Not always will you find that. Like, those were little black seeds. That's what onion seeds look like, and that's what the Walla Wallas will look like. But this will be a really good like visual, I think, to show you just how thick you can go with these seeds. Candies are my favorite. They're my family's favorite as well, so I'll probably plant most of the cells, or a lot of the cells, with candies. My family typically goes through between 120 and 150 onions in a year. I mean, that's about how long I can keep them. They're keeping way better in our root cellar though. So I'm thinking if I even plant more this year, I'll be able to hold them over a lot longer. They're a really high sugar content onion, and they grow huge. Typically the high sugar ones don't store as long, but in the right temperatures, boy, I'm having some really good luck. So that's nice too. The Walla Wallas are also a super sweet onion, so their storage life tends to not be quite as good. Okie doke. That looks great. So those are all of our candies. Right here, we'll know that this section here is candies. Thank goodness we have videos to refer back to so I can know where everything's planted. And now we'll do Walla Wallas. That's an onion seed right there. Little kind of black flat disc kind of shapes. Okay. I have enough onion seeds for probably next year and the year after as well. Onion seeds don't typically keep quite as long as others. So like next year, you'd probably want to seed just a little bit heavier because your germination rate will be down a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to top all of these up with our pre-moistened soil and then vermiculite. So we have done a video on vermiculite and perlite and kind of the differences and what they do. We'll link that down below, but it has kind of been a game changer ever since I've started using vermiculite on the top of a lot of my seed trays. It's helped out a tremendous amount. So now I'm just going to use my mister and just water in the top layer here. And because our soil is pre-moistened, it doesn't take a whole lot of water to do this step. It just kind of settles everything into place. Also, this spray bottle, we've had a lot of questions about it because you can see like it works at any angle. It's got a weighted tube in it. So whatever direction you point it, that weighted tube just goes and finds the water. It's from Crescent Garden. We've tried to source it. The only place we can find it is like packs of 20 for $200 or something, or $100. $100?
Gardener Supply sells the non-brass model.
Okay, so Gardener Supply has a very similar water bottle, Aaron says. It just doesn't have the brass nozzle.
Yeah, I think it has plastic.
Plastic nozzle, but it has the weighted tube?
I think so.
Okay, well, we'll try to find it and link it. Otherwise, this one is Crescent Garden, and I'm not sure where you can find one to buy singly. Okay, so the onions are all planted. They're ready to go. So what we need to do is take this inside to our grow light. I'm going to put a humidity dome over the top until they germinate. But I think we should head in there and I'll show you exactly where it's going to go. Okay, so we're here in the studio. This is my humidity dome right here. It could probably use a good cleaning, but I don't think it's going to matter too much. We want to put that dome on there just to encourage moisture and heat inside the unit here until they start to germinate. And then this is the light system that I wanted to try out. I'm so excited about the size of this because my other light systems that I use a lot, they fit these seed starter trays really well, these 24 cell ones, but they don't fit my 11 by 22s very well. So this is perfect. They do recommend, and I don't know if I said the name, this is called the Oslo grow light. It comes with one light per shelf. If you're going to use it for starting seeds, they do recommend that you get a second light. So I just moved this one. They're on magnets, you guys. Look at this. See that? Uh-oh. I moved the other one. There we go. They're really easy to move around. And if you want to use two on one shelf and then skip one, there's a little jumper cable that you can add so that they'll both be on. Or you can purchase additional lights if you want. But anyway, you can use a heat mat at this point if you would like to do that. It'll speed up germination. However, I feel like it's unnecessary at this point because we've got plenty of time to let them grow. I only have one heat mat and I want to keep it available for some other things that I'm going to want to start later on. We should see germination in about 10 to 14 days. Once they're all up, I will remove the humidity dome. I don't want to encourage excess moisture, any fungal issues or anything like that. And then if you let them grow without paying much attention to trimming them, they'll get huge and floppy and get all over each other, and it'll be really hard to kind of separate them out when it comes time to plant them outside. So you can keep them trimmed off to about 3 inches tall or so, so that they just stay really nice in their tray, nice and tidy. And so this tray right here should be good to go about the beginning to mid part of April, which will be perfect. So also, grow lights are unnecessary until they're all up. I just wanted to have them on so you could see what it looks like. So I'm going to turn them off. Once I see green start to peek through, that's when I will turn my lights on. And I run my grow lights for 16 hours a day. That's what I have these on right now. I've got other seeds going here. We just did an update video on that. And then I've got succulents and other things. And you can see, like, I've got a lot of my trays cleaned and ready to rock for the rest of seed starting season. Anyway, that is it for today's video. I hope you found it helpful, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.